We live in an age where a loss signifies an unworthy boxer. Nonetheless, in this case, a boxer who comes into the fight with 2 losses. This was supposed to be food for the development of the young 6'5" giant contender in Fundora. You'd have to bet $1,200 on Fundora in order to win 100. If there's one thing for certain about life, there's no absolutes, as there are no guarantees. Like navigating a minefield, once the fists go flying, one false move, and it could all end. Fundora was a lengthy fighter. His height was his trait, but his specialty thus far was his volume and inside fighting. Mendoza chose to stick a move early on, opting to focus solely on the body. This was beneficial for a few reasons. When chopping down a tree, it's best to start from the bottom. Going to the body will also slow down the volume puncher in the later rounds by disrupting his breathing and damaging his core. It was also important to disrupt rhythm. Volume punchers relied on closing the gap and getting the punching numbers up. Going to the body meant it would stop forward momentum, causing Fundora to stop in his tracks. Above all, the loop and body shots were meant to condition Fundora to focus on defending his body, so that when he'd step in with his punches, he would neglect his defense upstairs, leaving an opening for overhands. What Mendoza was looking to do was agitate Fundora enough by disrupting his rhythm, causing Fundora to get over anxious, reach in with his jab, and catch him coming in with an overhand. When Fundora had Mendoza backed into the corner, Mendoza planted his feet and projected his overhand hook. His timing was right, but his target was slightly off.
Mendoza would like to be able to land. Now he does the right thing by getting low and then throwing that over.
But lunging in with the overhands left an opening for the uppercut from Fundora. Mendoza used good lateral movement. This kept him from being a stationary target. Instead of cutting off the ring, Fundora chose to use his long jabs to push Mendoza against the ropes. There, he would be able to shorten the ring and then get to work. Once Mendoza was cornered, Fundora started to unload. You can't run forever. By the 5th round, Mendoza chose to hold his ground against the giant. Fundora fought nothing like how his frame suggested. His preferred range was mid to close. Up until this point in the young contender's career, his chin always held up in firefights. It was in his heart to make the fight as grueling as possible. Volume punchers are looking to press in an uncomfortable high pace, giving their opponents little thinking time, forcing them to fight off of sheer heart and muscle memory.
Backhand that lands upstairs for Fundora. Uppercuts now on the inside by Fundora. Here we go. Yep. Keep trying. Yep. Oh, there it is. There's that uppercut. And right uppercuts all the 5th. And inside in Fundora at the range he wants to be.
A lengthy fighter such as Fundora has leveraged punching up. This is why he was so keen on getting on the inside, allowing him to get to work with his uppercuts. With Mendoza being almost 6 inches shorter, his head was in line with Fundora's uppercuts. This was now turning into a firefight, but it was not in favor of Mendoza. For every punch thrown, there was 2 to 3 returned from Fundora. Fundora at this point was walking straight in with his head tall. Mendoza never neglected his strategy with his overhand, as he knew the target was going to be there all night. With persistence and self-belief, the strategy would soon prove to be worthy in the next round.
Nice uppercut on the inside by Fundora. He landed so many.
Once he's inside,
The knockout wasn't a lucky punch, but rather a calculated one. Fundora was never one to use his reach to his advantage, so Mendoza knew the hit would be open. The key was to catch Fundora stepping in and exchange punches simultaneously. With Fundora in the pocket, taking an outside angle, he was looking to throw his left uppercut as he had been landing all night. The issue was, the left uppercut was the reason his right hand dropped due to counterbalance from turning at the waist and pulling the lead shoulder back.
Right hand punches that were landed. Trying to throw the uppercut. Well, there you have it. Right, the uppercuts from two.
Mendoza was also protected from the left uppercut as his right glove was in position to block. His head was off the line, adding another layer of protection.
He misses it, boom. That left hook from Mendoza's got him.
The power from the lead hook came from stepping in on the inside angle, allowing Mendoza to turn down into his punch as the hook came from over the top. It's safe to say, Fundora basically didn't even see the punch coming, as it came from an angle of a blind spot.
Those punches that were landed. Trying to throw the uppercut. Well, there you have it. Right, the uppercuts from two.
You said from a long distance, he misses it, boom. That left.
The follow-up punches were basically a cherry on top.
Timber and down bombs. And you know, we've credited Fundora with being able to take a knee against Lubin. Here, he couldn't. And it's Brian Mendoza, who is in Fuego Saturday night.